I'm just packing the kit for the morning. So bear with me. For an emergency bivouac shelter. Bivvy shelter, bivouac. Bivouac, I think it's a French word, not sure. It's been a long time since I thought about it. So, yeah, I'm just packing the kit for an early rise and an early summit. Because this week has been a bit of a nightmare, bit of a write-off. Pros and cons, good and bad. Bit of drama. Is that better with the light on? Oh no, you can see too much of my face. Just a few issues with the transport and stuff. And we had to kind of get some local help. The guys were good, helped us out. Can't fault them. And got us back moving. But days were lost. So the week's been a bit of a non-starter. However, other good things came from it. To do with timing, right place, right time for something that happened. And I'm glad about that. Because that helped someone else out, so I don't mind taking the hit for that one. So I'm just packing, getting everything arranged. I'll be travelling late tomorrow, straight up, straight down. I'm going to try and get some photographs. Not been blessed with great images any time recently, because January and February are funky months. The weather's so unpredictable. The forecasts are quite atrocious at times. They're not exactly great at the best of times in Scotland. They're usually quite slightly more accurate the further north you come, believe it or not, strangely enough. But yeah, they're not always great. They're not brilliant. Say that about them. So I'm just doing things like changing out the batteries and stuff in the head torches and just making sure everything is working, and don't want to get caught out because the head torch will be on, a couple hours solid, so the batteries will be done in it, and I don't run them until they pack up on me. I basically bin them after if I use it for one ascent, they get binned. Simple as that. Because you don't want to take a chance. You don't want to say yourself, "Oh, how much have I used that head torch? It'll be fine." And then 30 minutes up a hill, your torch goes out, or on the way down it goes out, and you're in trouble. So travelling light, got a wee route planned. It's a really, really clear night. There's aurora out all over Scotland tonight. There's people posting photographs. I'm getting a bit of the glare off it over the glen. But my line of sight is a wee bit stumped. But I know it's there. And it's everywhere. It's getting seen down as far down as Glasgow, and it'll probably be getting seen further down than that as well. And it's great because it gives people an opportunity to get out and, actually witness it. That don't ever. I've seen it all over Scotland. I've seen it in Norway. I've seen it from oil platforms in the North Sea, out just right in the border with the Scottish and the Norwegian sector. You pick it up out there quite a lot. I've seen it. I've been lucky to see it in a few places, and at times it's absolutely incredible. It's amazing. But it's out there tonight, guys, so get out and see it. Yeah, amazing stuff. So few hiccups, but they're to be expected at times. And as I say, they're only setbacks. Nothing's ever permanent. So we'll be back on the ball. I've got some stuff slotted in for the weekend, hoping to tie in with a couple of guys on Saturday. Looking forward to that, and we will see what next week brings. I've got some plans for next week. Looking at the long road north, way north, into one of the last wildernesses in Scotland, the Inverpolly estate. A lot of people won't know it by that name, but it's in the Assynt region. You know, you've got these big wilderness areas like Lairg and Sutherland, and they're extremely remote areas, and Assynt is one of them. And then within Assynt you have Sulven. Sulven's not massive by any stretch. It's under 800 metres, but I think it's 700 odd, but it's out of this world. It's one of the most beautiful climbs in Scotland. It's iconic for all the right reasons, and it's an effort and it's a stretch to get to it. It's a lot of walking through, you know, it's like a Geo World Heritage Site. It's bogland. It's very, very unique. It's a very unique habitat. It's bogland, all sorts of plants, you know, alpine plants and mosses and lichens and all sorts of stuff like that. Incredible wildlife, birdlife. It's just a absolute reserve. The people that manage it raised the funds for it. I read somewhere where it was like many millions of pounds, and they raised it through various grants and stuff, and it's protected now as a World Heritage Site forever. No one can do anything with it, which is exactly what it should be. It's uninhabited, you know, there's an odd bothy on it, but there's no formal, you know, resident inhabitants on Assynt. It's one of those incredible areas. It's like the Fisherfield Forest Estate near Dundonald, where I've been recently, out in the kind of Wester Ross, you know, by Lochmaree. You keep going out further onto the coast, and Fisherfield's kind of on your left hand side. Vast wilderness, nothing. It's just bleak, but it's out of this world beautiful, and it's absolutely worth the effort. And again, even people in that area, and I stopped in a few places, and I was in a wee post office, and I was talking to this guy that I knew. I bumped into a guy I knew, strangely enough. He reminded me who he was. He recognised me, and I was like, I know your face, but I'll always remember faces, but I'm not great with names. And I'd give him some fishing stuff years ago when he was stuck, and he reminded me, and I was like, bloody hell, you've got a good memory. And I was talking about where I'd just been, and the owner of the store, who lived in the area, never knew. They never knew where this area was, and I said, well, it's Fisherfield, it's like out there. All right, is that what it's called? I says, yeah, it's famous, it's world famous, Fisherfield Forest. It's a very, very old place. It's just, there's nothing there. I've got this fascination with vast expanses of just emptiness, nothing, and it fits the bill for me. I would say of the two, Inverpolly, you know, Assynt is more remote. It probably tops the list as the real last wilderness of Scotland, I would say. It probably is. It probably takes that title. Some folk will call Knoydart the last wilderness because it's really only accessible by foot. It's like a 22 mile walk in, or you can go in by boat. The Knoydart Peninsula. It's another place that not many people know of. I walked across Scotland many years ago, probably 20 odd years ago, and after doing the West Highland Way I walked further west, and walking into Knoydart over the mountains it's a big commitment, because it is a near 30 km walk. It's 20 odd miles, it's give or take, and it's a tough one. And you navigate, it's not like a path, it's not signposted, you need to know what you're doing and you need to know where you're at. And it was around the summertime, and I was ultra fit at the time. I was in the Marines, I was super fit, really, really fit, and I was completely unfazed by, things that sounded round about the 20-mile mark. It just didn't faze me at that age, because at that age you're crazy reckless, and I was very confident. I was a Royal Marine, and my confidence had been built into me by that point, and I just wasn't thinking about the miles. It was a walk in the park back then. It's not a walk in the park now, but yeah, I just marched on in, and there's pubs, when you go in these places, and I'm thinking about a big plate of cod and chips, and I go in, there's a guy with a violin, and there's a guy with a mouth organ, and they're getting a full scale Kayleys going on, and I was like, wow, this is heaven. Big pint of Guinness all those years ago, and I think I had 2 pints and I fell asleep on the bench. I was steaming, because I'd been walking so long and had no alcohol. But aye, long time ago, amazing. A time before camera phones and stuff. I've probably got 1 or 2 pictures of the whole thing. One of them is me standing with a stag-topped walking stick with a check shirt, shorts in my backpack in the middle of Rannoch Moor. And the other one's probably in a pub in Fort William where I met some people. I think it was the Nevis Bar. And then after that, I think the camera batteries were dead, or it ran out of film. Either way, you didn't have great images then. Even my time in the military, I've got very few images, which is quite a shame really. But that's just life. Things move on, and nowadays people have got their phones out walking down the street snapping images of stuff, because nothing gets missed now. Not always a good thing. But I've still got memories, and that's what's important. No one will ever take my memories away from me. Anyway, so I'm just getting the gear ready. I'm going to try and set off early, so I'll have a couple hours and I'll be off ski. I've got a good wee pitch set up here, and I'm looking at going up the Corrie, and on one side I have the Ridge Walk, and on the other side I have a really nice big lump of rock of Munro status. There's another one to the right, and then looking away down beyond that, you're looking out onto the Western Sea Lochs. So if I'm right, by the morning and the sky is like it is just now, I'm hoping to get some fantastic images. I don't want to tempt fate, because I've done it too many times, and it clags in. It gets to the early hours of the morning and it clags in, the fog descends, and you can't see a single thing up there. And it's gutting, because it's a hell of a effort to get up these places, especially just now. There's a lot of snow and ice. So tomorrow will be crampons, walking poles with the ice axe at the ready, and we'll see how we go. And if the weather's absolutely stinking and I can't see a single thing, I'm probably not going to waste the effort, and I'll live to fight another day, because I think I've been beaten about 9 out of 10 times lately with bad fog, and it's, you just need to expect it at this time of year. The problem with doing all of these places in the warm months is they can get busy with people. Maybe not so much just round about this area that I'm in, because it is very remote, but you do get people, and I don't want that. I'm not a big fan of crowds. I'm out here for one reason and one reason only, and that's solitude. And I'm not selfish, they're not my hills, I don't own them, but I'm certainly looking for peace on them. And I'm certainly looking for the challenge of doing it myself. I'm not looking for someone to help me navigate or follow the party in front of me. I don't want to do the beaten track stuff. I'd rather make my own footprints in the snow. So there you go. So that's that. I'm just kind of passing time here. I'm a wee bit in the Wide Awake Club, so I don't think there'll be too much snoozing done. It's very, very nice, a nice night, but it's absolutely freezing. It's about -5 or 6. Round about 2, 3 in the morning, it usually plummets a wee bit deeper and then it kind of picks up again. No wind, so I'm hoping for a good crisp morning. It's an incredibly clear night. I can see the summits all down the glen. Can see every bar of snow. It's quite amazing, the natural light, because there's no pollution up here. There's no a city nearby, so you don't get light pollution. Light pollution can travel for 100 miles, you just don't get it here. There's nothing up here, apart from me. Me and my shadow. Anyway, so I think I'll get the tea on, and then that will be me, good to go. Fresh socks, sock liners at the ready, travelling light pair of trousers, couple of light layers, and a down jacket. Gore-Tex will be in the backpack. I'm not expecting too much in the way of rain, but sometimes it's handy to have it in case there's a big wind. Well, I wouldn't go up without the Gore-Tex anyway, ever, because it's an absolute necessity if it starts bucketing or the wind picks up. They're brilliant at just keeping the wind off your back, and that stops the wind chill getting through and pummeling you and just destroying your morale, because once you're cold, you're not going to heat up again. You know, you're not going to be able to do hill sprints up there, so it's always good to have the kit. Carry the kit and get used to carrying the kit, because the time will come, and if you're caught out without it because you've been slacking because you're used to carrying a light pack, that's when you'll have regrets that you won't be able to get over, probably. That's when people get caught out, because they get used to saying, oh, it's been nice for a few days, I won't take this, I won't take that, and I won't take the next thing. All of a sudden it changes on them, and you know what the outcome is. I've mentioned it many times. Anyway, so there we go, guys. That'll be me setting off soon, and hopefully all will go to plan, and I'll update you with some nice images. As always, I'm sure most people will be in their beds at this time of night, but I'm not. I'm planning and plotting. Anyway, thanks to everybody that helped me out the past few days. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the help and hospitality, and you know, decency. Still a lot of good people out there, that's for sure. And best of health to everybody else, light and love and all of that stuff. Okie doke. Night night. Cheers.